So as I was in the process of editing part 2 of this interview with Timmy Britt, we learned that the father of Timmy's writer's children is in a little bit of an unfortunate situation. He needs a new liver because of long-term undiagnosed type 2 diabetes. They unfortunately were completely caught off guard by this news, and there is a GoFundMe for him, which I will link in both the YouTube description as well as the description on all the podcasts and sites if you happen to be listening to the audio portion of this. But I will also give you the website right now as I'm talking to you. You can go to gofundme.com/help-dad-get-a-new-liver, or just look for Help Dad Get a New Liver on GoFundMe and look for the GoFundMe created by Rachel and Don Bell. I know money is tight for a lot of people right now because of the pandemic, but please, if you are able to donate to this GoFundMe, please do so. Thank you. How's it going, everybody? And welcome to part 2 of the Ocho and Ortiz Disney Pod interview with Timmy Britt. We really hope you enjoyed the first episode. If you haven't already listened to it, please go check it out. It's available as an audio podcast as well as a visual podcast on YouTube. So you can watch the video interview as well, or you can just listen. You can download the episode on your favorite podcasting app and listen to it there. Without wasting any more time, we're going to get right into it. Here is part 2 of our interview with Timmy Britt.
It's getting better in Toronto, in your province, or what is it, Ontario province?
Yep.
Right. So just Friday they lifted the 3rd level of your restrictions, right?
Yes, they did. We now have some indoor dining, and
look at you.
I was excited. I got to go to the movies on Friday for the first time in 7 months.
I haven't been to a movie still. That's great. I've been thinking about it.
Yeah, no, movies are some. What's that?
People can go out to bars again?
Yes, yeah. The movies is something I did, and it was sort of a Disney film. It was Black Widow, you know?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I made sure I got into that.
It's all Disney now. Disney owns everything. They own me, they own you, they own the book, they own it all.
Hey, man, if they want to give us a boatload of money for this podcast, and I will gladly.
I'll make sure I put in a good phone call for you. I'll call Goofy. Catherine, can you come out of the hole for a minute? Yeah. Listen, could you put a little email out to Goofy and Dopey? They're my 2 contacts.
Goofy and Dopey.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
yes.
Sure, Timmy, I'll do that.
Thank you. No, honestly, if you 2 have dreams that you want to do as far as the podcast, it's a great dream. You're touching so many people, and the more people listen, but you guys got a lot of cool things to talk about, and it's all above board. Like, I know that you can clown around, and I've heard your shows, and you guys get a little crazy sometimes. I don't even know how Disney lets you
eye to eye on things.
I don't know how Disney lets you get away with some of it, really. But
I don't think anyone from Disney. I don't think
has heard it.
They will now. They're going to now, because the Disney people and Universal people have all reached out to me through podcasts, and it's all connected. And so they see me, and now they're following me, and now they're seeing me here with you guys, and me telling everybody I can't wait to be here because I love you guys, man. Yeah. Like, seriously, Catherine, work out something with these guys. Like, you're looking for somebody to help you with the book sales overseas or in another country. You got 2 ambassadors right here that have both read the book and are big fans. Let them get some of the, make it work for them.
I've got a Twitter account with 6,000 followers that I've been plugging the book on. So,
thank you so much. But you got to make some money out of it. Like the book is something for everybody. It's a product. And so the more people read it, sure, in the big picture, we'll all make out okay. But get a slice of it. Don't let me run through this and take it all. Like, there's a real great story here that she wrote. And if you guys can help get me into Canada, then there's something in that for you. And I need you to know that, okay? Yeah. We're friends. I wouldn't just do that to you. There's no way.
I've been telling people about this book since I got it last week, and like I know I have a few friends who are like big Disney people like me. They go every year as well, and she wants to read it. And then someone who's never been to Disney, I told her one of the stories that's in the book, and she's like, "Wow, I really want to read this." And it was the one. It was chapter 9, I believe, the one with the girl where you're at the Ariel show.
House.
No, the Ariel show.
Oh yeah, little Becky.
Yes,
oh my God,
yes,
yeah.
Becky, where she talks, and
that
she
was
just,
so. I lost it there. That was like
Yeah.
my first experience with real magic happening in my life, and I was not man enough to handle it. It was too much for me. It was so beautiful. I broke down on stage, and I was 3 days on the job. They could have fired me for that, man.
Yeah.
Like I had snot bubbles coming out of my nose as I'm running backstage so that the guests didn't see me. I'm passing princesses, man, with snots running. And then my manager just gives me a napkin, cleans you out. Get a hold of yourself. She said, there's magic happening out there, and it's not as much now for people because you're not out there with it. Get your stuff together and get out there. And I never forgot that, just hold it together, because that little girl was so happy that I didn't know that she couldn't move or she hasn't spoken or anything like that. Like she was that sick. I don't know. I just met her, and I barely got to say anything to her. Like she just kind of like, nodded a little bit. That's it, man. But I could see she's in bad shape with all the tubes and everything. When she turned and said, "Thank you, Timmy," I said, "Oh, you're very welcome." I didn't think her mom screamed. It was such a high-pitched scream that I thought that somebody, she was hurt somehow. It sounded like painful. And I was taken aback. I just went white, and her husband stopped up. Instead of going to her, he came to me. He was more worried about me. It was adorable. As it turns out, as a weird twist of fate, there was an older couple in the row behind that now when that happened who remembers this. That woman then went on to send her entire family to Walt Disney World years later. Catherine Bell was one of those people. And so Catherine Bell didn't know that. They didn't put it together. There's only a year difference, really. Like her mother, Diane, went all the time.
Yeah.
And so when she told them the story, she was like, "We were there. We're the ones that moved the things. We saw that happen." And then when they put it together, I said, "Wow." But in the meantime, Catherine wrote this letter to Disney World after coming to my classes that was so well received and so well written, honestly, that it went right to the top. And they pulled me in the office and gave me a Spirit of Disney Award for some of the things that she wrote about. And I thought, what a great writer. If I ever want to tell my story or write my memoirs, I had an inkling back then in animation because I had NFL films and Disney animation. They're kind of cool jobs,
Yes, they are.
Very cool.
Yeah, I got real lucky. And honestly, I got super lucky. But if I needed a writer, I was going to look her up. And I wrote her a letter and thanked her and said, if I ever do anything for you, let me know. Turns out years later, I help her friend, her stepson, rather. She gets divorced and remarried. And her son-in-law, I guess that would be, right?
My stepson, Dustin.
Dustin, yeah. It's his dream, just like, your dreams to work at Disney. So we get him on his way. We train him up. We get him ready. And he's working for Universal right now. He's actually drawing characters in the park, drawing characters of people. So we're super proud. It's a great, but it was like 12 years I didn't hear from her. And then she called in a favor. See, it's all about the favors with this one. You need to get back in the hole. Me and the boys are talking. No. I'm going to get in so much trouble for that. If you only knew how much I love this girl, yeah. Plus, she's going to poison my food or whatever. Here, Timmy, have a cheeseburger. And he was never heard from again.
I don't volunteer as food taster. I'm just putting that out there right now.
Yeah, there you go. Right. See, Ocho's smart. And Josh is too sweet. Don't even do it. So I'm glad
it's 14 years later. After we'd reconnected, we started writing the book, and I wrote this chapter about the Little Mermaid Theater and this girl and how she, the magical things that happened. And my dad, my stepmom were reading it. They kind of gave us encouragement all the way through. And my stepmother says, "I remember this. We were there." And
that's amazing.
It all came full circle. Yeah, it's almost as
magic.
If one way or another I was going to find Catherine. One way or another.
Not only is it magic, but in Walt Disney World, it is a small world after all.
Yeah,
it is.
What a great thing to say. Good. That's a great point, Josh. Because she's in Texas and doesn't know that I'm a Cowboys fan because I'm from Philadelphia, and I didn't really talk to her about it. She was just a guest, really. So when she says I live in Plano, which is really 5 minutes from the stadium, I'm like, yes. And we're going to write a book, and the rest of the world is going crazy because of the pandemic. The timing is right. And to finish it just at the 50th anniversary is really special.
I cannot wait for that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to miss you. I'm flying down as of right now on September 30th.
You're going soon.
Oh yeah. I have only a 1-night hotel booked right now for Disney to stay on property. But then after that, I will be staying for almost 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing I made sure that I'm there for the 50th celebration. Everything starts
Great
on the
job.
1st. And then, of course, for the Halloween Horror Nights at Universal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm
The
excited.
people that work so hard on Halloween Horror Nights, too. Like, if you're a fan, I don't know if you've ever been before. Josh, have you ever been to Halloween Horror Nights before?
I go every year.
Oh, okay.
And I try to go every year, even last year when it got canceled. But then they came up with what they were calling it HHN Light because they opened up 2 or 3 houses. I still went.
Yeah,
I still went.
So you're gonna love the Epic Parks that Universal's open because there's one part of it. There's one part of it that's the history of Universal movies, and I'm talking Dracula and Frankenstein, and they're going to build their castles in their villages and stuff. What do you say? Like it's in the works. I can't say for sure they're going to, but the word is in that there's going to be a retrospective park just for the old movies. But I mean, imagine having dinner in the Castle Dracula one night, and you know what I mean? Could you just imagine?
That'd be amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
So Universal's really going all the way with that, and Disney's answer to that is going to be the Avengers Park, which is coming to Florida, which will be really great. I'm here in Texas.
That'll be huge.
Oh, really? Are they able to do that now?
Well, they own Marvel, so they're going to build.
I know they own Marvel, but there's that contract with Universal, right?
It's up this year. Now it's up.
Oh, is it? Because I know I always thought it was just.
It was only a 10-year deal, and that's up. Yeah, the Hulk's got to go. The Flash has got to go.
Interesting.
Well, Flash is DC. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Hulk and Spider-Man and everything.
Spider-Man, yeah, Thor and all that.
That'll be interesting.
But I got to be honest with you, Universal and Disney, they're friends. They're not enemies. Like everybody thinks, one or the other. They're both amazing. Yes. I mean, people work for both of them all the time. It's an industry that needs the world's best. Like you're not going to go to Disney World and see something and go, oh, well, Universal did it better. No, they're both done as best as could be done.
Yeah.
Like Disney and Universal spare no expense to bring in the best artists that they can. I've seen them. I've worked with them. I'm telling you, these people are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yes. No, I remember when I was on the Hagrid's ride, was it last year, back in October, I remember seeing the mural going past it. I was like, Timmy Britt worked on that. Timmy Britt worked on that.
And that's all you get was that little bit, but that thing goes around that whole building. There's a part of that mural where you're going backwards on the roller coaster, so you can't see it. If you were going the other way, you'd see it. But that is the part that the birds are flying into. I didn't paint it. The team painted it. You know, I gave them some directions, but from the ground and with like a microscope and like some binoculars and walkie-talkies, we step by step did it. Because they couldn't see. They were too close to it, and I was far enough that I could see. So you needed both sides of it.
Yeah.
But they didn't need me that much. They were great. I'd go and do other things, come back, and they'd have whole sections done. The Misfit Toys, I called them, because they just a bunch of scraggly people from all over that never did this before. But I believed in them, and they believed in themselves, and they ended up winning Roller Coaster of the Year for 2019.
Nice.
And they had the largest hand-painted wall mural on this side of the Mississippi. Well, on that side of the Mississippi, because I'm in Texas now. But it's a 17,800 square foot mural of a forest, the enchanted forest. And it is so beautiful and breathtaking. I'm glad you got to see that, Josh, for just a minute, you know. And I'm glad you thought about me, man. That's really, I'm really flattered with you guys. I love you guys, man. So what's next? What are you going to do to, promote something? Isn't there something that you guys in Canada that really need some help that maybe you guys can just say something about? I'm telling you the answer for you two is just a little bit of service and gratitude, and watch just a plethora, just an ocean liner of a boatload of good fortune and success and abundance come your way. Because it is a two-way thing. You have to keep it moving. You can't just take and take and take, and you can't just give and give and give. You have to be able to do both. I'm not very good at receiving. I don't want to. When you say nice things to me, I get all I'm going to cry. But yet I'll do it to you all day long. You could cry, but I got to tell you, in the book that Catherine wrote, there are some stories in there that aren't really super magical. There's one chapter where I'm looking for a tree to drive my car into, figure. But there's a point in everybody's life where they get there, or they think about it, or at least, and it's never the answer, ever the answer. But I got real close, and it changed a lot for me. But I couldn't, even that wasn't enough. I needed the little kids at the Ronald McDonald House to put all the pieces back together, and that's the truth. So if you read that story about Melody, if you look on the crayons, they did a drawing for that. It's funny. A lot of people don't know this.
Melody, I actually wanted to bring up Melody. Melody was one of the a heartbreaking story for me when I was reading that.
Yeah, it was brutal.
That was one of the chapters I read last night, actually, at 3 or 4 in the morning. I was like, oh man, this is hard. This is hard.
Yeah, I'm sorry to put you through that. And a lot of people would put the book down and not pick it back up, but you got to hang in there. You got to keep going. Real life, man. Yeah,
that one, and honestly, the one about Louis. that one hit me too. As someone who has
my
lost,
dog, man.
as someone who has lost a dog and has a dog now, I'm like, I can't deal with
we can talk about Louis all day long. I can talk about him all day long now that I'm at peace with it. But yeah, he was my best friend in the whole wide world, man, and that was tough. But like I said, you had a dog, or there's something in each chapter. But if you look, and what I want to tell you is, and this is kind of a happy thing, the chapter with the Ronald McDonald House, I took a Happy Meal and I opened it up and I have a bunch of crayons spilling out of it, right? And crayons say Crayola. Every single crayon says Crayola on it, except the one crayon I wrote Melody for her, and I spun it. So if you look closer at the art, you'll see her name on one of the crayons. That's a little hidden Easter egg for people that I've never told anyone before. Melody was not a little girl. That was an angel. I got lucky enough to meet an angel, because there's no way to describe what she was so against it, so fought it in the beginning. And the way we turned her around to have it end the way that it ended, I can only think that her mission down here was to meet me so that I would know not to give up. Because if it wasn't for that, for her saying it's not just a drawing, I knew that it meant something to people. And if she didn't point that out to me, a little tiny girl with one eye points this out to me, it was the step back up for me that led to me becoming an Imagineer and having this helmet right here. I wouldn't have that helmet if it wasn't for that little girl. So how can I tell the story without it? I'm sorry that it's a sad story, that little chapter. But there's something in that for people. That even, like, when you see, like, well, if there's a God, well, how could this person suffer, or that little baby, or this? Every single person that's born is born for a reason. I don't care if you're here for 5 minutes, or 50 minutes, or 5 days, or 5 weeks, or 5 months. Whatever time you're here, you served a purpose. You don't always know it. You don't know who's watching, who's listening, who's paying attention, or whose life you're affecting. But that little kid that fights through cancer, that you think, how could God do this? Just gave the strength to 3 nurses to go on and have careers that will save thousands of lives, because they watch this little girl suffer, this little boy suffer, and that strength that child chose to show the world through their battle, sometimes enough to propel people into lifetimes of service and great things for people. And all the people they touch are now touched by that little girl. So yeah, she lived for 15 minutes. But in those 15 minutes, she just changed all these lives with her. Just 15 minutes of life. And I swear, if you could just start looking at things that way, you start to see that it is an abundant universe. And don't wake up and say, oh, I wish I had this, or I wish I had that. Wake up and say, I'm thankful that I have this, and I'm grateful that I have that. And then watch what happens to you. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's a life of service and gratitude that leads to hard work and chasing your dreams. But if you do these things, I promise you're going to make it. Each of you. You're just babies. You two, you're just little tiny kids, man. You got your whole lives. You're not even 40 yet. So we can't really, we shouldn't even be talking. So you should have notes from your parents and talk to me, because I'm so old.
In terms of giving back, you did that last year as well with your Walls of Love project.
Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, the Walls of Love was really cool. It got expensive because, you can only ask so much from people, and there's a pandemic and everybody's scared. But we weren't. I got people to fly from all over to come in and help me with that project. And man, we did a magnificent job. As it turns out, though, 6 months into it, a car smashes up over the thing, smashes the wall.
Yeah.
Ties it up in insurance. Insurance brings on money, makes people crazy. And at that point, I said, okay, well, I've given everything I can give to this, because I didn't make a nickel on that job. In fact, it cost me a lot of money to keep feeding everybody and going every day and to drive. It was a lot of money, but it was worth it, because I got all that great content, showing the world when the world needed to see it. And what can happen when we all pull together?
And people can go onto your Instagram at Timmy Britt Studios and see all the wonderful work that you guys did. It was amazing watching that come together. For the months that you were working on that.
We had little kids that were 8 years old to, like, there's one woman, Lucia, who is, I guess, 70 something, but on ladders, painting, drawing, sketching, loving each other. It was such a great experience for all the people involved. I'm sorry that it had to end the way it did with that car accident, but after the insurance and everybody got involved, it just became like this nightmare to deal with. So, but the point,
and that's usually the way with insurance accidents. And
oh my God, it was it was almost as if it was time to stop. So I put my brush down and said, okay, here's the key, thank you. And they didn't owe me anything, and I didn't owe them anything. And what they couldn't finish, they painted over white. It's just paint,
At the same time, I'm assuming that ending that project gave you more time to finish up the book. So it's going back to, like, God works in mysterious ways. Like,
I had 50 illustrations due for that book. I know I can draw. I've been doing it my whole life, and I'm pretty good at it. I'm not the best at it or anything, but I can draw. I know my way around a pencil. 50 of the drawings, though, was ridiculous. And she hits me with this, Catherine, when I say she, I mean, she's got this great book, and I'm thinking that's enough. And she's got this great cover, and I'm so happy. And she's got the quotes, and it's perfect. She's like, now you got to make illustrations for every chapter. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Everybody who looked at it says he's going to illustrate it, right? He's going to illustrate it. I said, well, he doesn't really want to. Oh, he's got to illustrate it. We got to have pictures. So
if you're going to do something, then you roll up your sleeves and you do it right. I put 50 pictures in the book.
Hey, but didn't it turn out nice?
It's beautiful.
You were right, and I was wrong.
Right. Yeah.
I was
back in the.
Do we have that recorded? Can you give me a clip of that?
Yeah. But I was going to say the moral of the story is don't let Catherine out of the hole because she'll make you.
Every time she does, right? Every single time, right? Now, are you guys having fun tonight?
Absolutely. I'm having a blast.
All right. Is there anything that you guys want to talk about that I talked over? Because I hate to do it. They have so much to say, but then I just run over people sometimes. Well, and I want you both to feel heard and feel spoken.
I have one question that I want to sort of get back to that I was trying to ask before, and then I'll let Josh get some questions in. We were talking before about the art of animation and doing the drawings in 30 seconds. How much do you think your work with NFL Films and doing the animations live on air?
What a great question,
man. Do those like so quick live. How do you think that helped you when it came to the art of Disney?
What a great question. I can't even believe I never even thought of that question. And I lived it. That's a great question, man. Seriously. So the answer is adrenaline and being scared to death. That's the answer. The answer is when you're terrified, you could do way more than you think you can. You don't think you can jump over the crevasse that's going to lead to your death until you have to. And guess what? You're going to jump it. You're going to jump it. So it's like that kind of fear. But it's not fear as much as it is being nervous and just being excited. So you're hyper vigilant when that happens because you have senses that you become Spider-Man because you can hear what other people are thinking while you're working. It's really that intense. Yeah. So when you get to that level of it,
tap into things you didn't even know you were capable of.
That's the truth. That's where the magic is because you're like, whoa, this is really cool. Imagine skydiving. You never did it before. You're thinking, no. And then you do it and it changes everything. You're like, oh, I love skydiving. It's exactly like that. So somewhere, though, I knew I could do it, and I knew I had 7 seconds, and I just felt like somebody was always just watching over me anyway. I never really had grandparents ever growing up because my parents were the 7th child of 7 kids, but they were the youngest, and then they met. So I had all these aunts and uncles, but my grandparents were long gone. But somehow they weren't. Somebody was looking out for me because it all worked. It all worked, and it wasn't really that bad. Your brain is so powerful, both of you two. If you just push it a little bit, feed it what it needs, and then challenge it, you'd be surprised what you can do. Your pain threshold's a lot stronger than you think it is. Not that I want you to go through that, but don't give up just because something sucks. It's when it sucks that it's worth it more later when it comes through, really. I'm serious. I can't tell you how many things started out in my life that were just a joke, like the flea market with the artwork that turned out to change my whole life. Walking in the wrong door one day, I happened to meet the guy that I was supposed to, but the plan was go there, be a mechanic, and in 6 or 7 months we'll introduce you. But my buddy that got me the job just wanted to show me off to the other mechanics. And I had an engineering degree, so I was okay to do that. But I wanted to be an artist, but I didn't ever. And sure enough, I walk in, I'm freezing cold, this pathetic little mess, and there's Steve Sable right there. And I showed you the ball earlier, it just turned out to be this great thing. But you never know. You don't know how your path is going to be. And so when I walk it, I come back and say, look, that was your moment or that was your bridge and you missed it, so you got to go back. It's easy to help people from the other side of it once you get there. But I didn't know any more than anybody else what was going to be. But I was present. I was there. I put in the effort. I did the work. And things worked out. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I know you're trying to say.
No, and I was going to say, and that led you to 2 years at NFL Films. You got to see the Vince Lombardi Trophy, the NFC Trophy, the AFC Championship.
Yeah, that was a big thrill. I got to be honest with you. Other people might not really care. But for me, there's kids that go to college playing football all through high school, all grown up. Then they're lucky enough to get selected in the NFL, and they have a 10-year career, and they don't get anywhere near the Super Bowl trophy. And I'm just a street rat from Philly that walked in the wrong door, just about parked in the wrong spot, and here it is in my hands. So I'm thinking the world is so unfair, how some people get really lucky. Now, I didn't earn the Super Bowl trophy, but it looks really good in pictures. I got to tell you what, when you hold it, I felt like, wow, this life is going to be great if I can hold the Super Bowl trophy, you know? And I played football growing up, and I love it. I know how hard it is. Of course, I wasn't tall enough or fast enough or whatever enough, but other people are, and they still don't get to hold it. So that was cool. But the AFC and NFC trophies, too. You know, being a football fan, you know, that's the whole AFL and the whole NFC. Like, it's, you know, to have those trophies determines the Super Bowl. To have all three of them was amazing, and I have pictures of them, yeah. Me and my buddy Timbo, I'll never be able to thank him for that job. It was such a great experience, man.
Josh, was there anything that you wanted to ask?
I just wanted to, like, I mean, I listened to, like, the podcast you did with Dave before, and then I just listened to the one that you just did recently with Capture the Magic, and that one was fantastic as well.
Thank you, man. And those people were so kind to me, too, by the way.
It was so awesome.
And every podcast I've done, the people have been amazing. They've been well prepared. They've all had great questions. They've been so charming. Like, I'm the lucky one here, really. I just get to talk to, like, really cool people. But the truth is, the work you guys do, and then the editing, you're not even done. Now you have to go back and edit and listen to it over again and all. And I really appreciate that.
And just a quick shout out to our friends over at Dudes Dish Disney as well. Who
Carl and them guys and Ryan. Yeah. Oh, I love them guys. Like Carl, he's all about it, right? Yeah. So I walk in, I'm just, you know, I'm a clown show wrapped in like just a joke, right? I am. But I can do that because I have other skills. So I don't really need to be, you know, super professional. And I'm sure it would help, and Catherine's probably going to kick me. But the truth is, Carl just accepted me for who I was. He gets along with me, makes fun of me, and he let me into his tribe. And now I have all these great friends because of Carl. Yeah, he's just been a super supportive guy. I love him to death. And his whole team, the Dudes Sisters, they're great.
That's awesome. I just wanted to ask him, like, I haven't got to that chapter yet, but how was it working on the Frozen Forever After ride? Because I loved Maelstrom. It was one of my favorites. And I wasn't the biggest fan of Frozen, but I really wanted to go on this ride, and it quickly became my favorite ride at Epcot.
Yeah, Disney
and I still love going on. I will go on that ride every time. It's one of my favorite rides.
You know what, man?
What happened?
I'm so glad to hear you say that because it's always either way. People are like, oh, I missed the Maelstrom or all Frozen is great, but nobody loved them both like you. I've never heard anybody say, I love this, but now I love that.
Yeah.
Disney doesn't play around when they have a project to do and you have a country like Norway counting on you. Remember, that pavilion is run and supported by the country of Norway itself. So they have to come in and approve everything. It's not just what Disney thinks is great. You know, in those countries, they take real strict care of the cultural things. So when we're painting, the colors have to match. You know, everything has to be right.
Yep.
So to pull that off and change stories and keep the track was just amazing. Now, my part of it was bringing the outside of it to life while the other engineers were switching the track over. So they'd bring in animatronics and they'd hang, you know, they'd put in all the props. So it's really great. But then there's the sound system and the movies and the projections and the bubbles and every other thing that you see in that place. It's absolutely breathtaking. Yeah. It is. So is there a specific question you have? Because I don't want to miss it. Because
how was it like working on that? Because you knew that it was going to be
it was
kind of controversial
at first. Yeah. It was really sad at first. I mean, I don't know if you want to hear this, but Maelstrom to me was like the reason to go to Epcot. I love the Maelstrom. I love being a little Viking. Like, you know, I just loved having that, you know, that kind of like cool thing. And to be a grown man now with my own son who's seen it and read it, I thought, this is ours now, you know. Nope. Is gone. But I have a daughter who loved Frozen. So at the time, I was kind of torn, but it was horrible. I'm thinking, man, we could just build a whole nother thing. But no, with Norway, they really wanted this because it was a great pavilion.
Yep. But
they just needed to bring some awareness to it. Like the Maelstrom was great, but with all the things around it growing, it just became, you know, after 20 years, something is, you know, it needs a refurbishment. So instead of refurbishing it back to the Maelstrom, Frozen had to happen somewhere cold, and Norway stepped up and they said, make it, you know, let's do it here. And the whole thing happened. It was really a great story. So to pull it off, if you really like the Maelstrom, the ride hasn't really changed much. I can say that if you haven't ridden it yet.
No, the system has not changed.
Yeah. There was one section, if you remember, if you can think back, the Maelstrom would come out and you could see the opening in the park. That is closed now. That's the only thing. You can't see the opening. Because outside, there was a waterfall that came down that the boat came right out of. And you thought you were going to crash. It was really scary.
Yes.
And then it changed tracks and went down the other way. Well, that's all there. But the only thing is they had to close that off because of the movie projection. They couldn't let in the light. But that is about the only change in that. Did you ever see Frozen?
I've seen both of them now, yes. Right. Before that ride, I don't think I had. I'm not about it.
I couldn't get into it until I saw the movie. So I was at that point. So to answer your question, I think there was Maelstrom. There's nothing I can do about it. All right, I have to accept it. And I sat by myself and I put Frozen on and I hit play. And I didn't move till the movie was over. And I sat enthralled in it, actually captivated by it. I just thought it was so well done and so like, how do you not love Kristen Bell too? Anything that she touches is gold. So
love Kristen Bell.
Everything she does is fantastic, and she's just like a real solid person too, from what you see. So to see that kind of magic unfold, and then see my little girl, I realized sometimes you got to just shift like one story for another. Sometimes you just have to, because the Vikings are still in that story in a way,
In a way, yep.
And if you want real Vikings, you got to go over to DreamWorks anyway for How to Train Your Dragon. That's where the Vikings are, man. You want to talk about it. But anyway, the switch over was I had to see the movie Frozen, and then I accepted it all. And it was a great lesson I learned. It's a great question, too, because I learned that I lost Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I lost 20,000 Leagues Beneath the Sea. Like, I was there for that stuff, man.
Yeah.
I grew up with that stuff, and watching it go and then rebuilding over it, it's hard,
Yeah. For me, that ride specific for me, that is Snow White's Scary Adventure.
Yeah,
that being gone from Magic Kingdom was like a little heartbreaking for me. I'm like, oh, I loved that ride, even though it was a silly dark ride. But
if they get rid of Winnie the Pooh, I'm gonna freak out, man. or Peter Pan. I love those rides.
Peter Pan is probably the ride I go on every time as well, because that is again another ride that my mom and I would go on every single time together. That was our ride, was Peter Pan.
Oh my God, I love it. And that and the Haunted Mansion, because I gotta tell you something. On my birthday, I was there as a 5-year-old little boy, and I swear to you, those ghosts were real. All 999 of those ghosts were very real. So there's only one day a year, and it's not Halloween. It's my birthday that when I go there, if you join me in the Haunted Mansion, I promise you those ghosts are real. At least one day a year, they're all real. Because I still go back to that same day when I was a little kid, and I still look at the same exact eyes, And I love hearing that saying stuff about your mom, man. So Belle it is. If you love Belle, I'll sketch you out a picture of Belle.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And I'll send it up to you. You'll give all your information to Catherine if she's not overwhelmed, because we respect all of her time and everything she says. She's going to kill me when this is over.
If you let her out of the hole, that is.
Yeah. We got to keep her happy, like, to a point. But then, she needs to know. Anyway, Catherine, is there anything that you'd like to say? Catherine, is there anything that you'd like to say about the book? And I'm sorry, I missed that, Ocho. What did you say?
Oh, I said she needs to know that the worm is in charge.
Yeah, this is Alan Yard down, and we're gonna roll with we're gonna put our foot down with a firm hand.
Okay.
Is there anything you'd like to say about the book, Catherine? Is there anything you'd like to say about the book?
Yeah, it was just a real honor to write this. When I met Timmy way back in 2007, my daughter and I went to his class like 10 times. And honestly, if I had known he was already a superstar, I would not have written the letter. But I was afraid Disney might not know what they had. And so I wrote this letter, and that's how I had the ability to reconnect with him. And when he started telling me some of his stories, I said, you have just got to write a book. And he said, well, I just need the right writer. You want to do it? I remember your letter. It was good. You want to do it for me? And I said, oh, I sure do. Yeah. And it's been the wildest ride. He would dictate these stories, and I'd have them transcribed, and I'd try to put them in order and try to make it flow. And, it was a lot of work, but it was just every now and then I just go find him and I say, thank you for letting me do this, because there's just not another story like this anywhere. And I would have never had another opportunity to write a book like this.
I did get she did do that, honestly. I pick on her all the time because she's just fun to pick on. But the truth is, I'd be nowhere without her. And she did come and thank me for letting her be a part of it all the time. The truth is, it is a great story. I had some really cool perspectives.
It is.
And some unique viewpoints of things that other people will never get to see. And so if I don't tell it, then that doesn't serve anyone. Because along the way, there's a chapter, like I keep saying, there's a chapter for everybody. When you find that chapter that's yours, it'll refer back to you in life. You'll say, you know what, I remember there's something I read in a book one day. It might be 2 words that I say in that chapter, but it stays with you your whole life. And that will go on after I'm gone. So that's the part about the book that I love, is there's wisdom in it.
You say that there's a chapter for everyone. Josh and I have given our favorite chapters. What's Timmy's favorite chapter in the book?
Man, God talked to me. I hate to say it like this, but if you're going to ask me, I got to tell you the truth. I really needed to know that I was doing the right thing, man. This is just before I got fired from Walt Disney World, too. Like, I've never been fired from a job in my life. The company that I love and my triumphant return, I got fired. If you didn't get to there yet, you'll get to there.
Not yet.
I don't want to ruin too much of it, but it's called In Plain English. And I just read that. It's my favorite chapter. Whenever I need to get motivated, I go back to that chapter because I swear to you, that's exactly what happened. I asked God for something, and then it wasn't maybe less than 8 hours later. I had it. So no matter what happened after that, I believed with all my heart that he had my back. I said, is it going to be yes or is it going to be no? And in big red letters in the middle of downtown Disney, where nobody would find it, up in the rafters, was this big sign that I found just from walking around. I'm just looking at artwork, and I led my eyes up, and I saw one sign that said, is the artwork for sale? And I thought, yeah, I was just thinking the same thing, you know? And I realized, the managers, people ask them that all the time, so they have to put that up there. And then the very next second, I'm thinking, well, then they'd have to put the answer. And I turned, and there it was up in the rafters, a big white sign. The answer is yes. And I thought, this is just too weird. I just asked God for that exact sign, a yes or a no, somewhere in my life. Because you see stuff everywhere. I'm telling you, Florida is filled with, you're saturated your senses with the colors. And, just even outside of Disney property, every store's got a gazelle or a zebra or an alligator outside of it. You know what I mean? It's all fun and it's all stuff. Yep. So I just wanted something simple. So when I got that, something inside me knew that I was going to, and then I went on to get fired later, but I didn't give up because he said yes. And if I would have given up at any point, I wouldn't have the helmet that I have right now. But I have it because I just said, God said yes, I'm supposed to be here. I know Walt is pulling for me here. And so against all odds, without my dog, without my kids, without anyone to really love me, I just threw myself into painting and focusing on what I could do. Along the way, helping, going around McDonald House and helping different people along the way. And somehow, some way, every day, if I needed to make a right, I did. And if I needed to make a left, I did. I didn't have a plan. I just kind of surrendered to it and then went for it. Whatever happened was going to happen. But I know that sounds kind of haphazard. The truth is, there's focus behind it. Like, you want to do something. And if you're patient with yourself, cut yourself some slack. You're just a human being. But if you just try and accept that you're going to fall down, you're going to hit walls. I got fired from Walt Disney World. They turned around and gave me a helmet that, I'll have for the rest of my life now. And I can take it back anytime I want to them and say, hey, if there's a project, I'd like to be a part of it. And then I have the helmet. I'm allowed to be a part of it. It says honorary right on the back of it. So that way I can always come back whenever I want, It is a real honor too, But to be able to be high above Animal Kingdom looking at all the other parks, like I could see the ball, Spaceship Earth and Epcot, and the Magic Kingdom's castle, and the Tower of Terror in Hollywood Studios from on top of these mountains. And then behind that, it's all land, which means that when Walt was flying around with a helicopter saying, yeah, I like this piece of land and that piece of land, he had no idea. He never saw it being built. And here I am standing on top of Pandora, looking past Everest at these things on a clear Florida day, thinking there's all that he's built. But look at all that future land and what can be built and the imaginations long after I'm gone, long after we're all gone, because they came in and they were inspired at the work that they saw today. And right like that, I dip my brush in my bucket and I get back to work. And it was really that commitment to dedication for the future of scenic art and life and building things for people that if you really believe it, nothing can stop you. What I did was easy because I believed. But if I didn't believe, I would have never been able to do it. So it really comes down to believing in it and then working real hard. That's the best honest advice I can give you. I know it sucks because I can't say, yeah, if you tap your feet together and say, oogity boogity, that's all going to work out for you. I wish I could say that to you.
We all wish we had Dorothy's magic.
Yeah. But yeah, there's no place like home. But the truth is, she didn't appreciate home until she went through that journey, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Same thing. So if I said oogity boogity and you had your dreams come true, you wouldn't appreciate them anywhere near as much. I have an amazing life now, and everything I've ever wanted is working out for me. And so I just continue to give back, and just so the circle keeps going. You just keep helping. Things come your way, then keep helping. Things come your way, and keep helping. Because I don't want it all at once. I want to go through life is the messy bits. That is life. If you miss the messy bits, you missed out on life. You can say life was great, but it's because of the messy bits and how you've come through them that life can be what it is. All right, Josh, anything else you want to ask me?
I just want to not really ask you, but I just want to say the book is fantastic. Some of the stories that I've read are great. Those stories with Clay are amazing, and the stories with Maya was fantastic. And I can't wait to finish it and get through it all.
So you're not even up to any of the Imagineering part yet?
No, I'm not.
Oh, I've got to stop talking.
Getting there. I can't wait.
Yeah, good. That's good. And how about you, Ocho? Is there anything that you'd like to ask me or tell me or say?
not specifically about this book, but I do have
well, sure, anything.
one final question going back to something we had been discussing on the last episode I had you on.
Yeah.
Talking about how you were working on a coloring book for kids. I'm just wondering how that's coming along.
Well, so I made up some characters. You saw them. I posted them on Instagram. And then the book took over. Like Catherine was just so swamped with it. We had a lot to do with it. And then Halloween was over. So I thought I could work on other things. More portraiture work came in and stuff. So I have little pet projects. But if there's any of those ones that you like, contact Catherine. She'll send it up to you. Or at least send you a print to your nearest Walgreens. Do you have Walgreens there?
No, not in Canada, no.
Do your pharmacies have little photo areas where you get pictures picked up?
They used to. I don't know if they do anymore.
Walmart?
We'll come up with,
all right.
We'll come up with something.
Yeah. And that way we can just ship it right to them.
Oh, and I didn't get a chance to say we have a gift for your listeners.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I need to tell you about that. If anybody who's listening to this podcast would like to get a copy of the book from Amazon, because that's the only place you can get it right now, and you're too far away to have Timmy sign it for you, then if you will contact us through our website, timmybritt.art, through our contact us page, and just send us a little note saying we heard you on Ocho and Ortiz, we will send you a free self-adhesive book plate to put in on the title page of your book.
Yeah, you two, we got to send you some book plates. These two have books, but I didn't sign their books for them. Now I got to send them your signature. So I have this gold. But I mean, my friends here have my book. I didn't know they had it. They both showed me their books. They don't have my signature in them, so we got to make sure we have their addresses right.
So I have this wonderful. Listeners, yeah.
I have this wonderful golden marker, and I'll write something really nice and sign it in my signature. And you can
we appreciate that. Thank you.
Very much, yes.
So all your listeners have to do is contact us through our website and say that they heard us here, and we will send you an autographed book plate so you can have an autographed copy of Extraordinary Everyday Magic.
And I will sign it. Will be me signing it. Yeah.
And once again, that website is timmybritt.art. You can find him on Instagram at Timmy Britt Studios. You can find his Facebook page at Timmy Britt Studios on Facebook. Catherine, Timmy, we appreciate you guys coming on. Do either of you have any final things that you'd like to say before we wrap up this episode?
Yeah, I do. I want to be on the show again. I want to be on this more with you guys.
You're going to be regular on this show.
I definitely want to be here because there's so much I want to talk to you about this.
Yeah, we're just barely scratching the surface here. We only have like an hour to talk, and a lot of it was about the book, and I'm glad. I need to do that. I need people to see the book and read the book. But the truth is, we could talk about baseball for an hour. We could talk about dogs for an hour. We could talk about waffles and syrup.
Talk about the book.
I'm sorry. One more time.
Catherine would have gotten mean if we didn't talk about it.
Oh, man. I know. Like, she was actually pretty good tonight. I might let her out of the hole for a little while. We might get a cheeseburger or something into her tonight because she really did good. But, yeah, no. She worked so hard on it. And then, it's to see people write such great reviews and show such love. She's overwhelmed by it a little bit. So it makes her a little nervous. But the truth is, yeah, it's been a great experience for both of us because I could have never done this. I didn't even do the cover. This was all her. Oh, stop it! She's like, no. That's the truth, though.
He was a little mad at me because when I showed him the cover and he was a little mad. And I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, I was going to design it, but I don't think I can do better than this."
Yeah, no, that's it. She took Walt's head as a silhouette, and if you look real close, you can see his head, and then the one firework is the one Mickey ear, and the other firework. So she put a little hidden Mickey in it, and I think that's really clever. Well, I love you guys. Remember what I said, service and gratitude, okay? I'm telling you both right now as an older guy, right? I'm giving you the speech and watch.
Have a dream you believe in with all your heart and do the work. Yeah. Do the work.
It couldn't be easier. I know you don't want to hear that, but there is no other way, and no one's going to do it for you. So if somebody just tells you, look, this is what you have to do, and you go ahead and do it, well, then I think that I've done my service part of it because I know I did it 4 times, man. If I did it once, I could see maybe I got lucky, or twice, but 3 times, then 4 times. The formula works.
Yeah. That's a pattern.
Yeah. Now you may not be as crazy as me or go over the top like me, but in your own way, grab what is supposed to be yours, reach your destiny, live to your fullest potential by believing and thinking positive thoughts. Negative things don't get you anywhere. They're there. You got to deal with them. And if you read my book, you'll see that little girl Melody was tough, man. That little girl was amazing. And the saddest part of it all for me was that little girl was so cute. If you could have seen her so angry and then turn into like my best hero, like she's like my best friend, that was tough. But I learned back from the Becky and Disney to just hold it together, you know. But that little girl taught me something that changed my whole life. The book should just be about her, really.
And I just want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Vi, because he lost his daughter to cancer when he was really young. So, and I know he still to this day considers her his gift. So yeah,
it's powerful. It's got sad.
My buddy Vi who's gone through that and has battled.
You can get me a picture of his daughter. I'd love to do a little portrait for him so he could look back in her eyes again from an artist's point of view. Because when I do it, I meditate. Like I pray about the people that have passed on, and I try to reach out and say, hey, here's your chance. You know, you can't talk to the dead. Nobody can talk to the dead. They can say they can. Nobody can talk to the dead. But there is energy, and energy can be transformed in pictures or sounds or different things. And so when you open yourself up to it, I know it's going to sound a little deep for a lot of people, but when I sketch someone that's passed away, I offer them the chance to send me any love or energy that they want to. That's simple. And you wouldn't believe what comes through. Pictures of things. Veronica, one of my friends, her father passed away when she was helping me with the Walls of Love, and that didn't help us because we were really moving at a nice clip. And when that happened, it kind of just, she was a great friend at the time and a big help in that project. So it was like losing your right hand on a project too, in such a sad, tragic way. But while she was on the airplane back home, I took out a piece of paper and I just started to think about her dad and sketch him. And as I'm sketching him, I swear, I kept thinking of like a turtle, right? I kept seeing a turtle.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a turtle. So I go and I tell her that. I said, you know, while I did it, I got the strangest feeling like of a turtle. She's like, Timmy, my dad has had a tortoise for 75 years. Like the tortoise is 75 years old. My dad had him, got him when he was 25, and the tortoise is still alive. These things live forever.
Yeah.
But how do I know that? Do you know anybody that has a turtle or a tortoise like that?
Nope.
He had it in his backyard his whole life. And I guess I was going to tell her and she would know that it was him getting through. Because how else would I know that? A tortoise. Big tortoise he owns. Like, I thought you only had to have a zoo. Nope, he's got this whole setup for him. I didn't know that. I mean, she's a really good friend, but I didn't, I don't pry about it. What does your dad do? I don't ask people that stuff. So that was really cool. And that's just one example of how when you just open up to yourself. Because, look, we all have our senses. But there's more. Like when your heart beats, there's an energy, there's a pulse, there's radio waves we can't see and gamma rays and all kinds of, there's colors we can't see still with the human eyes that we have. So if you know that and you believe it and you see the magnetic fields and, like the lights that happen when the sun's rays come down, the earth is protected by, and we have aurora borealis because of it, because of the magnetic waves, because we have an iron core. And when that spins around, it's going to create the magnetism that we need. Well, the reason I'm saying all this is because all those things matter so that you can have this thought or that dream or whatever and have little examples everywhere right in front of you that it's going to be okay. It's going to get better. You don't give up. There's abundance everywhere. Everything that we need is provided for us. It is an abundant earth. There's still so much room, so much water, so much land. I know we crowd around little cities, but the population is about 9 billion people now. And I really think this planet can hold 10 times that much easy. I really do, if we just learn how to work together. And so my little book and my little slice of it is just trying to tell people to do that. Yeah.
Well, and with that being said, again, we want to thank you coming on the show again. You have a stand-in open invite to come on the show.
Oh, that's what I wanted to hear. Thank you. You guys are so cool. And I'm sorry if I got preachy and all that, but you guys are just so young. You're just babies. You're just rookie Jedis. You're just Padawan right now. Like you're in the process of becoming wizards. You're not muggles. I will give you that. You're wizards, but you're just baby wizards. So cut yourselves a little bit of slack. All right. And be patient with yourselves, but don't stay from your drive. Stay on your drive, but give yourself a little bit of slack. Like be easy on yourselves because you did just live through a pandemic. Everything was shut down. Yeah. The whole world is turned upside down. You two with your little voices are going to change the world. You just need to not give up and keep on believing. And I'm telling you, you're going to get there. And I'm going to help you. Yeah, I like this show. Yeah.
Oh, we certainly appreciate that. Josh, anything you want to say before we go?
I just want to say thank you for being on the show again.
Sure, thanks for having me, man. Yeah. You guys are real sweet. Get her your address. I want to throw something for your mom, Belle. I want to do Belle for you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Ocho. You came through. Hey, when I needed shirts, you guys sent me shirts, and I had my team wear them. And
yes.
I'm telling you, when I needed just enough love, you guys were right there and supporting me and talking about me.
You may have stolen one of Catherine's shirts, but that's fine.
I did steal her shirt. Yeah, all shirts belong to Timmy.
And he got paint all over it.
Yeah. I have that. I have to find that for next time. I have all the artists put paint on their hands and put their handprints all over it.
Yeah.
So I have your shirt with their handprints.
It's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
I think you may have
It's a badge of honor.
We were supposed to auction that stuff off. We could use these things to help people. So we'll brainstorm on that next time. But for right now, thank you so much, man. It's really great. Extraordinary Everyday Magic. Go to Amazon and check it out. There's something there for everybody. Yeah. Thanks for letting me plug my book, guys. And thanks for having me. I always feel so welcome here and so magical, really. You guys are amazing.
You're always welcome here. And again, the book is available on Amazon, both in the US and Canada. If you can't find it on Amazon in your country, reach out, go to the website, timmybritt.art, or reach out on Instagram at Timmy Britt Studios.
We'd love to hear from you too. Yeah. Hey, and you guys, so this is your first podcast back. When's the next one?
Hopefully we'll record it next week.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right, cool. All right. And how do I find you if I want to listen to you? I'm in America. I'm in Texas.
I'm glad you asked us, Timmy, because we are available on most major podcasting platforms, including but not limited to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, and our main source of uploading is Podbean, Ocho and Ortiz DisneyPod.podbean.com. And
nice. He's very good at that.
And you can find us on Twitter at Ocho Ortiz Disney or on Instagram at Ocho and Ortiz Disney Pod. You can also find us on Instagram, Ocho and Ortiz Disney Podcast. So that's where everybody can find us. Check us out, but definitely be sure you check out Timmy.
You guys were delightful. You were prepared. You asked the greatest questions. They were really good questions. They were insightful. Like you thought about them before you asked them. That I noticed that. Thank you. I get a lot of the regular questions, and that's okay too. But when somebody thinks about a question that they want to present to you, you know it. You know that the person did the research. You guys are very well researched and just a charming. Like look at them, Catherine. Look how adorable they are too, right? You guys are adorable. So thank you so much for having me, man. Yeah.
And thanks for letting me sit in too.
You're welcome, Catherine.
Yeah,
now back in the hole.
Catherine.
No, just kidding. Only kidding. I'm just please. I would be nowhere without Catherine. This is Catherine, her name's right on here with Catherine Bell. Yeah, she
Catherine, you have an open invite to come on the show whenever Timmy lets you out.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so. I love you guys.
We love you.
I love you guys.
Yeah, we love you guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Catherine. So that is going to wrap things up for part 2 of the Timmy Britt interview. We really hope that you guys enjoyed listening to this interview. If you haven't already done so, please check out the very first interview that we did with Timmy Britt from last year. It's episode 16. And we want to once again thank Timmy as well as Catherine for coming on the show. As I said during the interview, Timmy Britt has an open invite to come back anytime he wants. If you haven't already done so, please pick up Timmy's book, Extraordinary Everyday Magic. It's available on Amazon in both Canada and the US, $24.99 in the US, $39.99 in Canada. If it's not available on Amazon in your region and you can't find it, please go to timmybritt.art, shoot off an email, and Timmy and Catherine will gladly help you get a copy of the book. They will find a way to get a copy for you. But please do check it out. And again, go to timmybritt.art anyways and send them an email. Tell them that you listen to our show and get an autographed sleeve from Timmy Britt that you can put on the book. You can follow Timmy Britt on Instagram at Timmy Britt Studios, or just look for Timmy Britt Studios on Facebook. And you can follow us on most social medias. We are on Twitter at Ocho Ortiz Disney. And we are on Instagram and TikTok at Ocho and Ortiz Disney Pod. And you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Ocho and Ortiz Disney Pod. As I said in part 1, we will also be putting up a special 20 minutes worth of bonus material with Timmy on our Patreon page for absolutely free. If you want to become our patron and help support us financially, we would appreciate that. But we are going to put up 20 minutes worth of bonus material with Timmy for free on our Patreon, patreon.com/Ocho and Ortiz Disney Pod. And again, guys, you can check us out on most major podcasts and platforms. We're available on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, and of course, Podbean, Ocho and Ortiz Disney Pod.podbean.com. gmail.com. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search for Ocho and Ortiz Disney Podcast or Ocho and Ortiz Disney Pod. And as always, everybody, whether you're listening or watching this in the morning, the afternoon, the evening, whatever time of day it is, where you are, when you're listening or watching, we thank you for listening or watching. We appreciate you listening or watching. And we'll talk to you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.